What's going on, y'all? What's going on? About to send this link out. Then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna try to fix my mic though, because I do hear a little bit of feedback. A little bit of feedback. We want to see if we can fix that. Let me know how the mic's sounding, y'all. Let me know how the mic's sounding. So last night, some interesting things popped off on the charts. We're gonna break that down in a second. Make sure to go ahead and like the lives. You'll hop up in here, y'all, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We're almost at 3,700 subs. We can get that this week, y'all. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to check that out after the live if you have not already. Got some new videos dropping for y'all today as well. We got a couple sites we're looking at. All right, so let me make sure everything's good on my end. Loud and clear. I appreciate the mixtures. What's going on, Brandy? Now I don't know if you held that trade. You was the one talking about NAS100 yesterday, right? Now I don't know if you held that trade, but it definitely hit that level last night during Tokyo session, like we was talking about in the TikTok live yesterday. If y'all not following me on TikTok, y'all are missing out on free game because y'all think the TikTok lives are like the London session lives. They're not. Right? The TikTok lives, we go super, super, super in depth. So if you're not watching the TikTok lives, let alone watching the London session lives, you're missing out. If y'all was in yesterday's live, NAS100 when that's projected, remember yesterday we was talking about we wanted to see price retest. Look what happened. Retested. Could have caught that move, right? So this is why I talk about never begin to rush and stick to your rules. Because price is bound to retrace. You know what I'm saying? And for everybody that be talking about there's no volume during Tokyo session, I don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about. I'm like always relating people's faces because I'm tired of seeing that shit. Right? The GJ setup we was talking about yesterday as well ended up doing exactly that during Tokyo session as well. Now we got some big ass retracements that took place also. So we had big moves happen last night. We got big ass retracements and rejections taking place. So just like we talked about in the Sunday chart analysis, you can watch the Sunday chart analysis, hit that first link in the description, join the free signal free Telegram, and watch the Sunday chart analysis. Okay? But like I was talking about in the Sunday chart analysis as well as the live yesterday during London session, we got a lot of these charts struggling to make new higher highs or lower lows, right? We see that with GU. We took a GU buy yesterday. We caught a nice 1-to-1. And as you can see here, rejected that level, failed to hold this level at support. Well, it held this level at support, but failed to break back above this level, hold it at support. Rejected it 3 times, held this level at support, and then we just had a big ass reversal take place for the past couple hours, right? We see that happening with all these charts. Same thing with NAS. We had a big push happen last night and a big ass rejection. You see, price keeps on struggling to continue the trend. And we're seeing this with all the charts. All right, so I always talk about don't let winners turn to losers, secure profits, and stick to y'all's game plan because it's not going to be every trade that's just going to fly and hit and surpass all TPs. And this is what we was talking about on the TikTok live yesterday. You have to watch the charts. You can't get cocky or confident just because the Friday trade fucking went to a 1 to 6 RR and flew and surpassed all TPs doesn't mean every single trade is going to do that, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's why every Sunday chart analysis I always say, hey, Mondays and Tuesdays are typically the slowest days of the week. I say that all the time. So when that does happen and end up being the slow time for the week, you're not surprised or shocked or confused. You wonder why prices just been ranging consolidating for all New York session and half of London session, right? On top, there's no news. We had 2 holidays yesterday, 3 holidays. Right. As far as today, we don't got news either. So again, we're just simply just waiting for volume and our confirmations to be met. Now, GN's the only chart. Well, that's a lot. A lot of charts are going as projected, but GN has been going as projected again. This level that was struggling to be broken last week. You see here. This is what I talk about, and this is what I talk about. I'm going to have to make another video, but I talked about this in the live, in TikTok live yesterday, right? And I made a video. Shout out to my homeboy. I made a video like a month or two ago telling y'all that liquidity is not what people think. Liquidity is just simply low volume struggling to break that next level. And look what happened when volume picked up, broke through that level, right? And the same level the liquidity is on is the same level that price rejected twice last week and was holding as support. Again, I'm telling y'all, all these things people talk about are just one piece to the puzzle, right? And here in the playbook and Playmaker University, I give y'all the whole puzzle piece. And not only do I give y'all all the pieces to the puzzle, but I tell y'all what the full picture is supposed to be. Right? That way you know where to put all the puzzle pieces. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure to watch that video after the live. All right, again, there's no coincidences in the markets. All right, so the sets we're going to look at today, I'm going to break that down in a second. I'm going to catch you to the chat. Y'all know I can talk. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to talk. But I am liking G. And then again, I was looking at this setup, but a lot of the charts last night kind of was ranging up until like 10 o'clock midnight last night. And, I got to sleep at some point. You know what I'm saying? We're sounding good. We're sounding good. What's going on, Doug? I see you up in here. What's going on? What's going on? I see you up in here. Yeah, I know that's you, Vince. What's up? What's up? Yes, I got stopped out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as you got stopped out in profit, right? Because again, you don't want to let winners turn to losers. Right? I'm not scared to have my stop loss get hit as far as this, but if I'm in profit, especially when I'm like deep in profit, hitting a 1-to-1 or if not higher, I'm not going to let that shit retreat back and go negative, right? That's just me. I'd rather get whipped out in profit, either be done for the day or possibly look for another re-entry versus be up a good amount of money and then watch that shit trickle away. I just can't do that. I just can't do that. And I think that's what causes people to overtrade and over leverage and shit too, because they're like, yo, I can't believe I just let all that profit go away. I'm like, I can't believe you did that either. So I might do a little bit of a wider stop loss this one just simply because this is kind of the last line of defense. But we are still technically bullish on GJ. Again, like I said, all these charts are struggling to make new higher highs or lower lows. Gene is just now making new lower lows for us. All right. Because last week Gene was kind of doing this. Now we got some volume. Now we got to break through this last line of defense. Again, this is a very strong support resistance level, right? Last time we had a rejection, price maintained this level of support. You see here, price failed to turn this level back into resistance. So if we can break and hold this low as resistance, we're gonna see this downtrend. We might see price timber, which GN does every now and then. This is why I have like phases when I trade GP New Zealand, because New Zealand pairs we hit or miss sometimes. New Zealand pairs we hit or miss. But GJ is still technically bullish And this is the same exact setup we took on Friday. So if GJ can maintain a whole 194.80 as support, we can look for buys going back up to the highs here at 196. Okay. So we're going to be looking for possible buys on GJ. We're going to be looking for possible sells on GM. And then we're going to keep an eye on NAS100. We see NAS100 with a big projection. We see it's trying to make its way back up. So we got a couple sells. Again, it's all about just looking and picking and choosing what's the highest probability setup, and then just simply waiting for the confirmation. Right? You don't want to be in too much of a rush, trying to catch setups or enter trades, things like that. So you already know the drill. Just chilling, patiently waiting right now. So we're going to mainly be paying attention to GJ and GN, and then if NAS can push back above 21.820 and hold that as support, we'll get alerted, and then we can look for buys going back up to 21.890. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. And make sure to like the live if you have not already. New 5 minutes about to pop up. Those just joining the live, we are not into these trades yet. These are just trade ideas. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free Signal and free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. So we caught a nice move to start off the week yesterday. We caught a nice GU setup. We broke this down during yesterday's live stream. It was a nice one-to-one to start off the week. Also caught a nice NAS move. Now, I didn't call that in the signal room, but we talked about that as well with the members and students. And that one as projected. It continued to push as well, but I didn't take this setup and I got wicked out. I closed this, so I didn't catch that. Rest of the move that happened last night. And that's how this week's going so far. As far as last week, We went 5-0 last week, giving us 100% win rate. Monday, we caught a nice 1-1. Tuesday, we got another 1-1. Wednesday, we caught a 1-3. Thursday, we caught a 1-3. Friday, we caught a 1-6. Then the week before that, we went 4-0. Then the week prior to that, we went 4. So we're on a crazy win streak right now. Right? We're on a crazy win streak right now. Yeah. So there's that. As far as how we ended last month, if you scroll down to where we at, I believe, yeah, you go to June 2nd, you can see how we ended last month, just like you see on your screen. We went 19-1 last month, gives a 95% win rate. You click right here, it's going to take you to the beginning of the month. As you can see, all wins and losses are posted. We do the recap the day at the end every day, the recap the week at the end every week, and the recap the month at the end every month. Right, you can see here the month before that we went 16-1, gives a 94% win rate. You click right here, it'll take you back up to the beginning of this month. You can see how we ended Q1 and started off this year. January we went 17-3, February 14-1, March 13-1. And then quarter 44-5 gives a 90% win rate. So we literally do average 90% win rates on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. So yeah, we've been killing it, but we're literally just picking up where we left off last year, right? You go to last year, you can see how it was going last year. All right, we really do this shit over here, yo. You go to subscribers, you go down to photos, there's over 600 photos, 3 years worth of receipts. You see screenshots, positions, student results, testimonials, all that good stuff. So make sure that first link in the description to explore the channel, y'all. But yeah, we got a new 15 about to pop up in a little bit. New 5-minute just popped up. We got a couple setups we're looking at. We're looking at possible GBPJPYs, and we're looking at possible GN sales. Right, those are the two charts and two setups we're looking at right here. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at your chart, that's a nice retest right there, though. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. We like to see these retests right here. Let me know if the music's too loud, too, y'all. So now, as you said, if it goes above 794, I have a support there. So the retest continues to go up. Yeah, so with NAS100, we're still in the uptrend, right? So how I like to trade is I simply only go with the floor price. I keep it stupid simple. And this is how our win rate's so high, because we don't try to overcomplicate things, right? It's just like we was talking on the live stream yesterday, the surfer analogy. You know what I'm saying? So we're in an uptrend. We can clearly see that there's clear bullish momentum. We see that there's clear higher highs. But like we've been talking about, we have to also acknowledge, the elephant in the room, where there's this huge level of traffic. These are the previous higher all-time highs, right? And again, this is what I was talking about, man. There's so many things we could talk about, man, but let me just answer your question, because I was going to go on a whole nother fucking what you call it. But yeah, so right now we can see that we've really been struggling to hold 21,820 as support right here, right? Thursday we broke through it, failed to hold that support. Friday we failed to break and hold that support. Yesterday we struggled and we blew through it during Tokyo session, but still failed to hold that support. So we're going to need to hold this low support here at 21,820 for not only the uptrend to continue, but for us to be able to see continued buys. Right, so that's what we're looking at. So we can hold that level of support. We can look for buys under 21,900. Plus, we got as high as back up to the highs here at 21,960. So that's what's going on with NAS100. But yeah, so it's got a little bit of work to do. It's got a little bit of work to do, though. A lot of these charts. And like I said, GU did a big ass reversal, so I'm not really going to mess with GU right now, because it's a reversal territory, right? So I don't really like to take trades in a reversal territory. So I'm mainly just going to pay attention to GN and GJ as of right now. We're about to see what this next 15 looks like. So again, this is why I'm also not in a rush, because as you can see, price is literally right back where we left off. Right, so again, like the more you're on the charts, the more you realize like price isn't really always running off and taking off like you see this right here. Right, there's only certain times price does that, which is why again you always want to be a little bit early to the party, so that way you can wait for your confirmations, not feel that pressure, trying to hurry from getting to a setup and all that good stuff. Right, and that's also why I don't like to be on the 1 minute chart, the 30-second chart, and all that good shit, because being on the smaller time frames, especially on your broker, on your app or your phone, those look like big moves, but they're not big moves, right? So again, we're just sticking to the game plan. We're sticking to the game plan. Now, I'd like to choose GN over GJ just simply because GJ is his last line of defense, but I'm not against either one of these two setups right here. You can see we can treat this all as resistance. Let me unthick this. All right, so that looks a little bit better. Popped up. So I'm liking GJ. Again, this is the same setup we went for on Friday. I like GJ and GN. I like GJ and GN. Again, we're just been really struggling to make new higher highs. We got no news today. We do got news tomorrow and Thursday though, as well as Friday. So we're gonna see that's gonna put some volume into the markets. But yeah, I like these two setups right here. Just waiting for my confirmations. Can I break down the daily on GN and GJ? Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been doing, but I mean, I'll do it again. But that's what I've been doing. Like when I'm in these live streams, that's what I'm breaking down. I'm breaking down the daily. Like when I do this, this is the daily time frame. But I got you. So we have bearish momentum. This is why we're looking for sales, right? We see clear lower lows getting made. That's why we're looking for sales. Again, last time we was down here looking for sales, price was struggling to not only hold this level as resistance, but make a new lower low. Right? That's why price was kind of struggling the past couple weeks to break through this level right here. And we see here that last night price was able to do so. So yeah, that's why we're looking for sales, because we're in a downtrend. And then as far as GJ, I guess we're still bullish, but we literally since May have been struggling to break and hold this level as support and make a new higher high, because when we go into the Vince, you're making me pull out the book. And this is what we talk. That's why I give y'all the book at Playmaker University. And that's why I tell y'all it's the first thing when y'all join to read, because when you understand how to read the charts, everything else is going to start to make sense. So So let me pull out the book so y'all know what we're talking about. I was supposed to make a better screenshot. I did not do that. Did not do that. Did I? It's all good. All right. So when we pull out the price action technical analysis playbook, again, click those links in the description. I gotta make a separate video in the description. I keep forgetting to do that. So let me just drop it in the chat right now. I stay forgetting to do that. But it's available. You also get this for free when you join Playmaker University. That's in the bio. But like the rules of the uptrend says, it says in order for the uptrend to continue, what do we need to see happen? We need to break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. So when we look at GJ, this was the higher high, right? This was the higher high. And like the photo just said, or the screenshot, right? We need to break past the previous high. We also have to respect the support level the higher low is on, right? So we've been respecting the support level the higher low is on, but we've been struggling to break that resistance level and make it higher high, right? When you look right here, we see price rejected, and then this week price rejected. So we're struggling to turn this resistance level into support, which is essentially what is happening when you go for buys, right? You see how this was a resistance level, got turned to support. This was a resistance level, got turned into support. This was a resistance level, got turned into support, right? When we look here, we see that price rejected, just like our price rejected here. We go further to the left, same thing, right? Yeah, that's what's going on with GJ and GN. That's what's going on with GJ and GN. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday, y'all. Make sure to check that out after the live. Shout out to those that already watched it. A little bit different from what I usually drop, but like I said, I'm switching it out. I'm still gonna be posting what I be posting on a weekly basis, but I'm just trying to literally, if not already, become the best trading and investment channel. So we're going to be hitting and talking about literally anything and everything trading and investment related to make y'all better traders and investors. So y'all now watch that video, make sure to check them out. New 5 minute about to pop up in a little bit. Now gold, we can look for buys on gold here. I just don't like this buy position. We're technically bullish, and this isn't wrong to go for buys. But again, I'm just very picky with my setups, right? So I see setups all the time that can play out. But again, I can't hop into every setup. I mean, I can. I have enough accounts to literally hop into every chart if I wanted to, but that doesn't mean I want to do that, right? Like I always talk about, it's about going for high probability, high quality setups. So with gold, we are technically bullish, so we can maintain and hold 33.22, 33.24 as support. We can look for buys going back up to 20. I mean, not 23. Over at 100, 33.50, and possibly up to 33.78. but I'd much rather wait for price to at least break back above 33.50, hold that support before I go for buys. But as you can see, we went for buys here a couple weeks ago. So this is still valid for buy setup. It's just, again, we have a lot of arrangements going on. So I know if we can definitely hold these two levels of support and we go for buys when prices holding these two levels of support, we definitely have a very high likelihood of the trade going our way. But like I said, this is also not a terrible position to go for buy. Right? That's just me being picky as fuck with my setup. You know. But like always, I'm always going to acknowledge all the possible moves that I can't see happen. But yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of setups on that, kind of looting or being marinated right now. Again, it's just Tuesday. There's no news. And we got some not the best bigger time frame market structures. So again, we gotta be patient, stick to the game plan, right? Just like yesterday. Right, yesterday. When did we even take that setup yesterday? I don't even fucking remember. Let me see what time we took that trade. What time we took that trade? Yes, we took that trade like an hour into London session yesterday, right? And then even like with GJ, right? Yesterday we was talking about this GJ buy setup. I literally took this setup, went to sleep, right? Because the volume was so low. I had my buy limit went off and I woke into a bag. But we talked about that yesterday. So again, we talked about that during the Sunday chart analysis as well as the London session live yesterday. Well, you can see here, London session, New York session, no volume. But then Tokyo session, that volume came in and did the move, right? So everybody was talking about, oh, only New York session got volume. They're lying to you. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? So again, this is what I was talking to you about in the live yesterday as well, Brandy, with NAS100. Like, I can know what the move is going to be, most likely, but I can never, know when it's going to happen. I can know when it's most likely going to happen, but again, it just depends on the market structure and the volume. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the market structure and the volume, right? Just like in Playmaker University, right? 4:45 a.m. I said we can look at this NAS buy setup at 4:55 a.m. But when did NAS chilled here and didn't really wake up and do the move until New York Open, right? So again, I knew this was the move to look for, London session, but didn't really do the full move until New York session, right? Just like with GJ, I said we can either look for buys, we can retrace here, or look for buys if we can come back up to this level. Again, this was at 4:55 a.m. GJ did not wake up and do either one of those until last night, right? So again, I can know what the move is going to be, but I can't know when exactly it's going to happen, which is again why we wait for these confirmations and all this other shit, right? Just like with GN, we talked about GN cells, right? This was again 4:55 a.m. You see what it was looking like. We go to GN, 4:55 a.m., which was right here. I knew if we could hold this level as resistance, we could see this move happen. But again, it did not do that at all during New York session. It did it right before London session, right? So again, so this is why you just got to spot my alerts. And I'm on the charts. And I catch what I can catch. If I miss a setup, I miss a setup, right? Because again, in the live, I call setups all the time. I call like 3 to 4 setups a day, but I don't take every setup, right? Or every setup again doesn't play out at that exact moment. That's why when people hop in this live and they see me watching and waiting, and after 5 minutes they leave because they're like, oh, he's not entering anything, right? But then when I do the recap of the day, or when they look at their charts, they're like, oh shit, these things did go as projected, right? But then they get upset because they weren't on the charts, or they were like, oh, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's been an hour and price is still doing this. Again, I'm not chasing price, we're following the flow of price. So again, this is why we want to wait to see if price can hold this low as resistance, because if it doesn't hold this low as resistance, it could try to retrace and retest this lower right here. We're going to see what this next 15 looks like. I like how both of these are looking. I want to see if they're going to try to do something this next 15 going into the hour. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. Make sure to hit that first link in the description on the free signal, free Telegram. What's going on, Lawrence? Bro, your life changing for real. All you need is patience with yourself. You got me out here eating from YouTube videos and these London lives. Almost 4 years in with you, bro. See? It's one of the OGs right here. Shout out to you. And I'm telling y'all, bro, like, I'm telling y'all. So if y'all ain't going to believe me, right? Believe my boy Lawrence right here, right? He's been here for a minute. So he was actually, shout out to you, because if you was here for that long, you saw when I first started how all these other traders were coming out the woodworks, hating, reporting my shit. I'm talking people with check marks, 50K followers, 100K followers. And I'm like, if y'all got so many followers and you're this quote unquote full-time professional day trader, why are you in my Telegram? Why are you commenting under my post? Why are you following me? Why are you talking shit? Right? So when I tell y'all that we've been doing this shit for a minute, I mean that shit, right? Like, if it wasn't, like, I chilled out for like a year because I was getting tired of getting reported and my pages taken down. Like I said, this is like my 5th TikTok. I had to get a whole new phone because I had like 2 accounts suspended. No, I had like 1 or 2 accounts suspended, 1 disabled, and then like 1 super shadow banned. So like I bought a whole new device and everything and all that shit. And then my lives kept on getting taken down and shit. That's why I chilled out for like a week or 2 on TikTok lives. That's why I'm going back live now. But that's why I'm going a lot harder right now, because I'm like, you know what? Fuck that shit, right? I was like, fuck that shit. That's what they really wanted anyway. They wanted me to stop sharing the knowledge, right? Because they want all these other traders, they want you to believe in the lions, tigers, bears. They want you to believe the boogeyman's under your bed waiting for you to enter a buy, and they're going to stop loss hunt you and all this bullshit. Like I said, I'm here to show y'all that trading is not as complicated as people make it seem, that literally anybody gets to be successful, and it's complete bullshit. That's only 1% of traders successful. That's the biggest lie I've read in a minute. Right, so shout out to you, my boy. Shout out to you. Right, and again, that's why, I like the Telegram. That's why I keep it pinned. Right, this sale is no longer active, but that's why I keep this pinned so y'all can see we really do this shit. We've really been doing this shit since 2022. Showing you how to really read the charts, averaging high 80, high 90% win rates. Right? I used to do all this shit, right? Because again, when I first started, I didn't even have 100 subscribers on YouTube. I had like 20 people in the Telegram. And people were like, bro, who are you? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I started calling shit out. Shit started going as projected. I started showing people like this shit, like this is real life. And I still got haters every now and then, but if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing nothing right. But like when I tell y'all, like we really do this shit, that's why I'm gonna show them P&L and shit. I'm like, if y'all really want to pocket watch, this is what I was doing in 2022, right? So if y'all really want to pocket watch, y'all can do the math, right? You can figure out how much I made off this stuff. That's why I be laughing at people. I'm like, bro, like I always tell y'all, the proof's in the Telegram. But if you notice, all the haters that be in the comments or anywhere else, They never want to acknowledge or look at the Telegram. Every time someone's in the comments, either on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube saying I'm lying, I say, click the Telegram. They never say, yes, I looked at the Telegram. They just keep on saying, oh, you're a liar. Or, oh, if you're really making money, why are you always in tank tops? Like people that make money automatically don't wear tank tops no more. I'm like, bro, I'm in the crib. It is fucking 4 a.m. Why do you want me to get dressed up and look cute for you at 4 a.m.? Like, y'all will come up with any excuse in the book instead of just clicking that link in the description, seeing all the proof, seeing all the receipts, and being like, hey, this guy's not selling me. What this guy is saying actually makes sense, right? Everybody's talking about top tips, bottom tips, all this shit. We've been doing this shit since 2022. I'm like, that's why I'm like, bro, like, if you can't use your head and realize that what I'm saying is making sense, then I can't help you. That's why I do this shit the way I do, because I'm like, if you're only going to be able to, if you're only going to be convinced by me, if I'm showing you every day how much I'm fucking making, I can't help you. You just know to be scared. Right? I know that sound fucked up, but hey, it is what it is. All right, that's why I be chilling, because I'm like, even when people don't believe me, that's not going to stop shit that's happening, right? We're still going to be taking these setups. I'm still going to be catching these pips, and the members and students are still going to be eating, right? Because again, like we've been doing this for a while, so like the OGs, he popped out and said something, but like you don't really gotta say too much, right? Like most of the members, they just be chilling because again, they've been with me for like a year or two, and they know what it is, so they just be eating. Like there's nothing really to talk about, right? It's the same shit every day. We do the same shit every day. We look for buys, we look for sells, we test confirmations, follow the flow of price. It's literally the same shit every day. You watch these London session lives, it's the same shit every day, right? That's why I say once you rip that band-aid off and you learn how to read the charts, and you stick to the playbook, it's literally just rinse and repeat. So we're going to see if GN can hold this level as resistance. Again, if GN can break and hold 23.15 as resistance, we can look for sales going down to 22.30. That's what we're looking at right now. And it looks like gold's about to do that move. Like I said, I'm not going to go for that gold setup. I'm not against it, but I just don't want to go for it, honestly. If you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. When looking at your charts, drop in the chat. My bad, y'all. I was doing something. Let's see what this next hour looks like. Can you help me place my SL box on GJ? I'm sitting on a 15. That one's confusing me. I mean, what's your SR right now? You said take it down to 194.54. Where's yours at? 194.54. That wouldn't be a bad stop loss. I want to do something. I have a support set there. So I will say this. You don't want to put your, that's one thing I don't like. That's why my levels are lines. You notice when everyone else be doing these levels, it be these big ass rectangles and all this other bullshit. The reason why I do precise lines because that's what needs to be precise. So when people do those boxes, you will see that they put their stop loss right at the bottom of the box. And they wonder why they always be getting wicked out. You don't put your stop loss where you expect price to touch and hit. Okay, so I'm going to give you some game. Now, I go over this step by step in the Playmaker University one-on-one sessions, but I'm going to tell you this, right? I always give extra game to those that watch the lives because, as you know, not everybody watches the lives. That's why I always shout out those that watch the lives, right? So not everybody's going to watch the live, and, that's fine. So you never want to put your stop loss where you see price touching because that makes zero sense. If you know price is most likely to retrace and touch and wick that level, why would you put your stop loss there to get wicked out at? Right? That's why you'll see a lot of times on the internet, people are like, oh my God, prices. That's why they be thinking they're getting stop loss hunted. I'm like, no, you're not getting stop loss hunted. You're putting your stop loss. That's like me putting my stop loss right here, where I know this is a key price line. Of course, price is going to retrace and touch that level. So, but again, instead of reviewing the trades and understanding that's what's happening, I'm always blame the markets for everything. It's like, did the markets make you into the trade or did you into the trade? You get what I'm saying? So you never want to put your stop loss where you see price hitting. Okay, if you see price retracing, or that's a support resistance level, you don't want to put your stop loss there, which is why my stop loss is underneath the support level. Just like when I go for sells, my stop loss is above the potential resistance level I'm looking at, right? It's above the resistance level, above the resistance level. I can chart the resistance level. My stop loss is above the resistance level, right? Now this one's a little bit off because I change my levels every week. So let me go to NAS100, right? And I'm entering off the support. My stop loss is below the support level, right? So I have my stop loss like all these other people, right, on the support level. Of course, I'm gonna get wicked out, right? So there's a lot of shit that people do online that's fucking terrible. But that's why I'm online now, right? So that's why I'll tell you, your stop loss is supposed to be strategically placed where if it gets hit, you're most likely wrong and price is going to be going the other direction, right? That's why when stop losses do get hit, that's what happens, right? It either rejects, reverses, or I'm trying to find some, but again, we don't really lose that many fucking trades. So trying to find. I'm trying to find an example. Hold on. Like I said, it's kind of hard to find one because we don't really. Okay, so here's one, right? So again, we took a buy here. Stop loss got hit. Came down to the level below us, right? And the next day, the move was looking before. So this is what I mean by even when our stop loss gets hit, when you follow the playbook, it's never because you're wrong. It's either because of lack of volume or you get caught in a reverse trend change, right? But again, you see here, my stop loss below the level, right? You never want to put your stop loss on the level. That's one of the craziest things I be seeing. That's a trend, but because everybody does it, everybody's gonna keep doing it. Right? That's the sad thing about trends, right? Because you really think about a lot of these trends are fucking stupid. I'm not even talking about this trend. I'm talking about in general. A lot of trends are fucking stupid and don't make sense, but because everybody does it, people do it. Right? It's the same thing with trading. Right? They really sit back. A lot of the shit we talk about online, a lot of these popular pieces and thoughts don't make any fucking sense when you really think about it. But because everybody says it, people just run with it. So yeah, that's how you go about the stop losses. So I'm liking GJ here. Got me 5 minutes at the top up. Alright, so that's an extra free game for y'all. Don't put your stop loss on the support level or resistance level. Put it above or below the support or resistance level. Great point. Thank you. No problem. What's going on, Chanel? I see you up in here. on? What's going on? So yeah, price is kind of just chilling right now. We're going to see what happens coming into this next hour. Again, there is no news today, so we're simply just waiting for volume and our confirmations to be met. All right, so the game plan is still the same right here. We're going to be looking at possible GJ buys. If we can maintain a whole 194.85 as support, we look for buys going back up to these highs right here at 195.90. And then with GN, we're looking for possible sells. If we can break below and hold 23.15 as resistance, we can look for sales going down to 22.25. And then we can see NAS buys. If we can break above and hold 21.20 as support, we can look for buys going back up to these highs right here at 21.900. And then gold, like I said, I'm not against this gold setup. If we could hold 33.26 as support, we can look for buys going back up to 33.50. So we got a lot of setups right now. Again, we're just simply just waiting for volume to pick up. You guys got any questions? Drop them in the chat. We're looking in the chat. New 5 minutes about to pop up right now. We're gonna be on for a little bit longer. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well, y'all. Y'all see scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram playmaker_weight, TikTok. No, I messed up. Instagram playmaker_weight, TikTok _playmaker_weight_ post daily on both pages. Make sure to follow my backup as well. The trading playbook. Some of y'all know me or found me from that one. But if you're not following me on that one, follow me on that too, because that's going to be my backup page. I've been running it up. That's also why I was kind of taking a break on my main TikTok, because I was spending like 2 weeks running that up. Also experimenting. And yeah, I'm getting like way more consistent views on my backups. Yeah, my main page is fucked. I'm not giving up on my main page yet, because we had decent lives the past couple lives. As far as content, when I post them there, my page is fucked. Like, there's been too many reports on that page, which is why I'm kind of being careful. But I made my new page. I'm talking about they running my views up, they pushing my shit out. I'm like, why can't y'all do this on my main page? But it's all good. I got a new video dropping for y'all today. All right, because I've been doing some stuff behind the scenes, y'all. I've been experimenting with crypto and stocks. I made like a whole new portfolio that's like strictly for passive income. which is staking and dividends, staking for the crypto, dividends for the stocks. And I found some shit. Y'all might have know about this, but I found some shit that pays hella. So screw the other. Well, I'm not gonna say that because those are still safer and like super long term. But I found some fucking stocks, well, some ETFs that pay stupid amounts, and they're way cheaper than the other dividend ETFs and stocks I was telling y'all about. They pay way more, and on a monthly basis, and one was a weekly basis. And I confirmed it because I got paid the beginning of this month. The other one I was getting paid on a weekly basis. And yeah, the mathing. So that video is dropping today, right? So for those that's trying to get y'all investing up and long-term investing, whether that's just you're trying to make some extra money or start stacking up your retirement funds or whatever, staking crypto, and dividends, stocks, and ETFs is the way to go. Now I'm not saying don't buy the other stocks like Tesla, Palantir, Meta, all that shit, but if you want something safer, less volatile, when you're going to make a big return on your investment, ETFs is the way to go. Especially if you don't want to worry about, watching your stuff too hard and all that. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. NAS100 bias. I'm gonna guess you just got up in here. I got you, but it has not changed, right? So I'm still looking for buys. If y'all have not watched the Sunday chart analysis, make sure to watch the Sunday chart analysis. Again, like I always talk about, it goes over not just what we see price doing Sunday night going into Monday, but it goes over what we see price doing, throughout the entire week. But as far as NAS, we're still going to be looking for buys. Right, it's right back where we left off yesterday. So if it can hold 21,740 as support, you can look for the same buy set that we took yesterday, going up to 21,820. But we need 21,820 to be held as support for the uptrend to continue, and price can do that. We look for buys going to 21,900. Right? Again, we talked about yesterday, as well as the simple chart analysis, a lot of these charts are really struggling to make new higher highs or lower lows, as we can see here. So we're really just waiting for volume. That's it. But again, there's no news today, so we're just waiting for volume and confirmations to be met. But that's what's going on with NAS100. Still looking for buys. Not going to look for sales anytime soon. Gold's taking off. Meanwhile, GJ and GN are still trying to figure their lives out. Yeah, gold's slowly pushing right now. That's the only chart moving right now. Well, as far as the direction we want, GG is still trying to figure it out. Again, this is the same position we went for on Friday. But again, we really need for the uptrend to continue to break these highs and hold 196 as support. That's what we really need to see happen. Now, we do got a bunch of news tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Well, let me not say a bunch. We do got news tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be interested to see what that does, but we'll worry about that tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Now we're about to be worrying about the confirmation setups. Right, and another thing, again, I'm gonna give you some more free game. Do not worry about making money. I know that sounds crazy, but the more you worry about making money, the less money you're going to make, and the more money you're going to give back. I know that sounds crazy, but I am telling y'all, I have the best days and weeks when I am not talking about making money, and I'm just strictly and solely focused on sticking to the playbook. But the days where I'm trying to make X amount of dollars or I'm trying to make money, that's when my emotions are more heightened. I start reacting more impulsively and start doing more dumb shit. Well, I'm cool, calm, and collected, not worried about making money. I want to make money. Because again, when you stick to the playbook, that's what happens on default, right? If you stick to the playbook, and I can confidently say this because again, we've been doing this since 2022. If you stick to the playbook, money is going to come as a default because that's what the playbook's aligned with. The playbook is set up to make you money. Versus if you on the charts trying to make money, only focus on making money, that's when the dumb shit happens, the over leveraging, the revenge trading, the rushing setups, the chasing price, the FOMO. And when you are just strictly focused on the game plan, right? How many trades am I taking today? How my confirmations met? Okay, I'm in the trade now. Okay, my rules say to do this once this happens. My rule says to do that once this happens. And you just go day by day, sticking to that playbook, the money's going to come. Right? That's why I be chilling, because every trade I take, I know how much I'm risking, and I'm okay with how much I'm risking. Every trade I take, I know how much I'm supposed to make, right? So when those numbers pop up on my screen, those blue, green, red numbers, it doesn't affect me because that was part of the game plan. That was part of the playbook, right? That's why, one, because I don't want y'all to see all my business, but two, that's why I look at TradingView, right? And then my other screen, I enter trades. But I did this so I can strictly and solely focus on what's important, which is the charts. And I'm telling y'all, if y'all do this, y'all gonna be a lot calmer when it comes to trading. You're gonna feel a lot less pressure. And you're gonna be surprised at the end of the week, end of the month, how much you're up. When I practiced on a demo account for 3 months straight, that's all I was doing, right? My emotions was out of it. Well, it was a demo account, but like I said, I treated it like my personal accounts, right? And my prop firm. I had a game plan. I already knew what size of prop firm I was going to be purchasing, challenge-wise, and I knew how much I was going to be putting into my personal account, right? So when I was in the demo account, every trade I took was based on the lot size or the amount I could and would be risking on the prop firm challenges, as well as my personal accounts. So that way, when I switched to my personal accounts about my first challenge, I was doing the exact same shit I was doing on my on the demo account. And I literally was so mad at myself when I realized how easy this shit was. I was like, I can't believe I just got funded in fucking 2 weeks simply after I spent a year plus struggling and doing dumb shit. I can't believe it was this simple. So again, that's the tip of the day. I mean, I give hella tips a day, but that's the tip of the day. Don't worry about the money. The money's going to come. You worry about the money is going to stay away. Now, obviously, when you're in profit, secure profit, you determine how much you're willing to let go back. I'm talking about as far as entering the trade, waiting for your confirmations, and as soon as you enter a trade, right? Because as soon as you enter a trade, there's no point in looking at your broker, because if you don't know, I'm about to let you know or let you in on a little secret. As soon as you enter a trade, you're automatically in drawdown. So there's literally no point at seeing how much you're up as soon as you enter a trade, because you're going to be in drawdown. That's just how it works, because it's spread. Yeah, but DJ is looking nice. We're gonna see how this 5 minute ends, or what this next 15 looks like. But we might jump into GJ. We might jump into GJ. I like GN as well, which is why I'm mainly looking at these two. But everybody see how this 15 closes. Again, y'all, you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. We'll be looking at your charts, drop in the chat. We'll be on for a little bit longer, y'all. Make sure to like the live and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Yeah, I like GG right here. Push it a little bit higher than I wanted before this premise to close. But markets aren't going to do what you want when you want them to do it. I like this setup right here. All right, y'all. So again, the main charts I'm looking at for today is possible NAS buys. And again, you can look for a buy here. But again, I'm going to look for a buy here at 21,800. If we can hold that as support, we can look for buys going back up to these highs right here at 21,900. With GJ, we can maintain a whole 194.90 as support. We can look for buys going up to 195.30 and possibly back up to these highs right here at 196. And then with GN, if we don't hold 23.15, 23.10 as resistance, well, let me say if we do, we can look for sales going to 22.25. But if we don't, we could try to retrace and retest 23.90, and we can maintain hold that as resistance. We can look for sales going back down. All right, so those are the main charts I'm looking at today. Again, got a new video dropping for y'all later on today during New York session. Dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Y'all see a screen on the screen. I got videos posting today for y'all on there as well. And we're most likely, I'll let y'all know, of course, before we go live. I'm probably going to go live again on TikTok today. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been live since y'all joined. Make sure to hit that first link in the description on free signal for your Telegram. You see your screen how we did last month and last quarter. Y'all want to contact me directly, y'all can DM me on Telegram, TikTok, or Instagram. I respond to all messages. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Yeah, I think on this session 3 EST.